it's time to go over some of the finer details.
Honeymoon in Vegas was released on August 28th, 1992, with a budget of $25 million, which is surprisingly high for a film that's kind of small, but also like moves around a lot and has some pretty big set pieces, like the entire island of Kauai and Bally's Casino and whatever the hell that office was that he had in Manhattan.
Yeah.
But it only grossed $35 million. So barely made back its budget. As we've said many times on this show, Hollywood math, it didn't make a profit whatsoever because they probably spent more than $10 billion on marketing and distributing and all that kind of stuff. So basically a box office bomb. This was written and directed by Andrew Bergman, who we just talked about during our It Could Happen to You episode. Most of the same people worked on this film as It Could Happen to You, so you'll notice there's some familiar names in here. Bergman, as we said on our previous episode, It Could Happen to You, famously wrote Blazing Saddles for Mel Brooks, as well as the original Fletch with Chevy Chase, so he is capable of writing good comedy. I don't know what happened here. He has barely worked, however, since 1996's Striptease with Demi Moore. Since it got pretty hated on by the critics, and I guess he was just like, "Fuck this, I'm retiring." Though I saw, I saw an interview with him where he had a heart attack in 2001, and once he came out of it healthy, he was like, you know, what am I doing this for anymore? I've made my money. I'm just going to live a nice, quiet life with my family. And I guess after Striptease, he was broken. He must have been broken inside by the hate that movie got.
I got to be more naked for all of you guys. You're welcome. I'm retired.
Yeah. This is what you've been asking for. 20 years you've been asking for this. Yeah. I mean, God love him for that. And I have watched Blazing Saddles about 9,000 times. Yeah. So he paid his dues with just that, and he never had to work again after that. This was shot by William A. Fraker, who must be cousins with the Fockers, I guess. I don't know. He's the clean version of the Fockers, the Frakers. He sadly passed in 2010 after a long career as a cinematographer. Might be responsible for the most iconic car chase in movie history, from Bullitt, Steve McQueen, which is like Michael Bay needs to watch that fucking car chase on repeat so he can learn a few things. Not that shaky ass shit from The Rock. Like the Bullitt car chase scene is incredible. And was almost shot completely without permits. They just fucking set up in San Francisco and started driving around. Asking, wanted to ask for forgiveness, not permission.
Yeah.
But Fraker also filmed such household names as Rosemary's Baby, War Games, and Tombstone with our pal Panos Cosmatos' dad, George Cosmatos, in the early 90s, which I just rewatched because I went to Tombstone and holds up. See how Panos Cosmatos is able to make his weird ass movies because his dad made a lot of money off of that movie.
Nepotism. But this one, good time.
Yeah. Edited by Barry Malkin. Like we said in our It Could Happen to You episode, he edited The Godfather 2 and 3. Worked with Coppola a ton, I think like 11 times or something like that. Including on Rumblefish and The Cotton Club. So we'll be talking about him again relatively soon. I don't know when we're going to get to those films, but... And then music, of course, by Randy Newman's brother, David Newman, who we talked about on our Firebirds episode, has had a huge career that definitely rivals his brother's, that nobody really talks about, which is kind of crazy. Just a few highlights again. The Brave Little Toaster, one of my favorites. Throw Mama from the Train. Bill and Ted 1 and 2. The Sandlot. Coneheads. Tommy Boy. The list just goes on and on.
So I looked it up because I was like, was that the guy who's Randy Newman's brother? He's Randy Newman's cousin. He's not his brother. Yeah, because I looked it up last night and it saw that his siblings were not listed as Randy Newman. Oh, and then I just looked it up again. I thought it's like David Newman brother, and like he's the older brother of Thomas and Maria Newman, and he's the cousin of Randy Newman.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So well, maybe that's why they don't get talked about as like a power duo of some sort.
Yeah.
Because they're, it's kind of like if you were to combine Nick Cage and Jason Schwartzman or something.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah. They do their own thing.
We'll be talking about David Newman again next season in a movie that I've been dreading having to talk about for several reasons. Army of One. God, I've been dreading that movie for so many different reasons. Anyways, ratings. This has a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, 6.1 out of 10 on 37 reviews, which feels a little high in my opinion. I looked it up in Indecent Proposal, which is basically the same fucking movie, but is actually based on a book from 1988. So I kind of wonder if maybe this was like a studio war thing where they tried to get ahead of Indecent Proposal and put out this.
They lost the rights of the bidding war to get that book. And then so they just made their own great value version.
It's a great value version. But this has a 65% and Indecent Proposal, I think, has like a 31% or something like that. That movie's absolutely hated by critics, but loved by audiences. Whereas this movie is loved by critics and hated by audiences. So a little yin yang between those two. Weird. Audience score is 35%.
Oh, God.
Which is really bad. Really bad. Yeah, that seems...
I think it's way too harsh.
A little harsh. I will say it's not a great movie, but it's not 35% bad. I don't know, at least in my opinion. The Metacritic score is 63%. So going back to the critics, they really love this movie for some reason. I don't know.
James Caan, I don't know.
I mean, I don't really get it. Maybe there's layers to this that we missed. I don't know. Letterboxd gave it 3 out of 5, which is one of the higher scores that we've had. So the audience there is different than the Rotten Tomatoes audience. I don't know. It's kind of baffling, all of these scores. IMDB is a 5.9 out of 10, which is pretty close to what the Rotten Tomatoes critic score was. So all over the map on audience, 35%, 3 out of 5, and basically a 6 out of 10 from the 3 different audience polls that we took here.
Interesting. Yeah.
And then the cinema score was a B+, which is not good. Yeah, I mean, I feel like this movie was sold as a lot funner and more, I don't know. I think the idea rubs a lot of people the wrong way. I know when I was a kid, I didn't think much of it, but when I watch it as an adult, I'm like, Jesus Christ! It was like she was with this dude for like 24 hours and was ready to throw her fiance away.
Yeah,
like he's got money. All right.
It falls apart in the third act pretty fast.